331, if you're looking at the parent involvement, that would be Nancy.
So we changed, either changes from what we voted on in the original budget.
Payroll, I mean, we didn't hire anybody. Actually, some of the payroll went down because we brought someone in that was less paid because of their lack of seniority. So the payroll actually went down.
But the 0.5, 0.3, 0.2, those
Percentages
were moved
stayed the-
around.
No, those are the same. Those stayed the same. Does anybody else have any questions?
So from my perspective, and because I'd already asked some questions, I mean, these are just a combination of all the, there's tons of documentation behind each one of these line items. correct?
Absolutely.
So that's why, and I had asked my questions earlier when
Right.
this initially came up, so thank you. Yeah, if you had to print every page, it would be, that actually supports each line item.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, probably go with.
And a lot of it is exchanges and meetings, and a lot of people put a lot of hours into this document. A lot of hard work. We have to thank our principals and teachers for that. The coordinators do a fantastic job.
So out of the school budgets, are there major changes in any of the budgets?
No.
Actually, I was trying to do like some just napkin totaling when I looked at this before, and it roughly evened out, I think, a lot of it. in terms of the-
Per student, it's pretty much identical. Each student across the district. When I first took over this job, some schools, they got more per student than they do now. But Diane and Teresa asked me to work towards that, so I did it in the slope, so it wasn't too much of a shock, but
Thank you.
So I'm just looking through these again. The Moody budget, 1, 2, 3 of 4. It says increase, add 42 more days, now 5.5 hours. It's under the 125, third time it's listed. So it's maybe like 7 pages in.
okay, I first have to find the school. But what is the
Right.
question?
Well, it says, I assume these positions are part-time.
Okay, so the little writing is when I had originally submitted those things in the fall. After you approved it in the fall, I submitted it, and those were questions Sadie, our MDE person, those were questions she had. So what happens is I submit it, she looks through it, she approves something, and then there's things she has questions about. She very seldom has to change anything, but it's usually just clarifications because she wants to document anything that could be questionable.
So are they part-time?
Cool.
Are the positions
Some,
part-time?
a lot of them are part-time and a lot of them are full-time, as far as the ATAs, the interventionists, and that kind of thing. Like I said, each building looks at their needs and decides where they need to put their energy, as far as math, do they need to focus on math, or do they need to have someone at each grade level? What works best in their situation? As I've told you in the past, this is a work in progress. Generally, what happens is I change it constantly until the minute I press submit. But in this particular time, since we have an extension, I'm going to be pressing the button right after tonight's final meeting, so there'll be no changing.
And then it's just through the end of the year working through it.
Right, working through this, once it gets loaded into gets approved by MDE and then loaded into the computer, and then we start tomorrow working on the fall. Continuous process.
Just looks like her questions are more pertaining to whether it's part-time, full-time, and if this positions, the people are highly qualified.
The people have to be highly qualified for us to order them or hire them. the referrals have to be, or the ATAs have to be highly qualified under their requirements, and the teachers have to be certified if they're working as a TOSA.
We would have already reviewed them separately from that, though. That's why each time we do an approval, we assess that. That's why I wasn't concerned about it here. Okay.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Well, I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So we'll present this to
Suzanne Preston at the board meeting, yes. Okay, the next item on our agenda is sale of used phone equipment. So when we had the phone system changed over from the old system, which was the towers, to the voice over, there was a lot of equipment that was just put into storage over at the PRC. And since then, we've had Kathy and Barb go through it, along with Jason, I think it is, go through it, and they've been able to identify some equipment that we no longer use and that we no longer utilize at all, but another company is willing to purchase it for us in the amount of $9,355.
Purchase it from us.
From us, yes. This equipment is of no use to us whatsoever. It was sitting in rooms collecting dust, and so then they went through, contacted different companies, were able to get bids on the items, so we can go ahead and sell that and dispose of it for $9,355. And it's on the board agenda for tonight, but I wanted to give you a heads up on that as well. So as you can see from the pictures, they worked really hard to get it all together and organized so that we no longer have to deal with it.
Was this phone system stuff?
Yes. That's the old phone system stuff.
Got it.
Yes.
So it looks like just the very first picture, there are things still in plastic.
Correct, because when we got the phones, they came with different pieces, and this cable wasn't a part that we needed, but it came with the phone. So we didn't utilize it, but it was part of the phone system.
But we didn't pay extra for it.
Correct.
I would just like to say for the record that the leadership that came from both Barb Kirsch and Kathy Fields was phenomenal, and this wouldn't have happened without their leadership and their energy and their coordination skills.
Very cool. I don't mind.
Keep digging, we
Tap
might
off
find,
the energy part.
keep digging, we might find more stuff.
Exactly.
So we have an extra $9,355 because of these two ladies going back into general fund and not sitting in a supply closet.
Correct, yes.
We're looking for more to sell.
Yeah, there may be more.
But that also speaks to that we don't have to necessarily have a number, only an estimate. The same thing that we talked about with Sixth Grade Academy.
Right.
That is completely cleaned out. We had a principal sale, and we called it Kathy's Kmart, that she deemed her own title. But really, I mean, again, that kind of leadership was certainly noteworthy because thousands of dollars went back into buildings that was just sitting over at Sixth Grade Academy in consumables and furniture.
Are there any questions on any of that? Okay. The next part is we're going to go to the administrative review. Did anyone have any more questions or information that they wanted us to pull from the administrative review so that we could coordinate or examine additional data?
Well, I think if we get the 15, 16, and I was thinking about this over the weekend, don't we have IDEX?
We do.
So.
Wait.
Oh,
Yes.
we don't
Yes.
use Munetrics?
No, we have IDEX.
Right. So why wouldn't we be pulling from IDEX? Why do we have to wait for RISA to pull this? Because this is the same data that's available
And we can.
to us. So we can look at additional school districts, people that might be more like us. Because I know you said on some of that, this district was pulled because they're like our special ed, this district's pulled because they're like our free and reduced. But at one point, we had training for all the board members from Munetrics, so, and we have new administrators, so if we could do a training, I think, for IDEX.
Well, IDEX, we only have 3 licenses that we can have out. Otherwise, we have to pay $1,000 per license.
So we only have to be
but when
licensed.
we finish,
Oh, sorry.
if we can do a training so people understand what it is
Okay.
and what questions they can ask and what data they can ask people to pull